Hello and welcome back to Under Review in a historically injury-ridden season. Yes, even more injury-ridden than the last one. The Huskies have been playing with 7 players in a lot of games and have been doing quite well at it. We are going to break that all down soon, but until then, I'm Mahn.
And I'm Inesta. Let's get into it.
Before we begin the discussion, I want to first bring up Gino Auriemma's passing of his mother. We want to extend our condolences here at UCTV, as well as share a quote that Daniel Connolly had during one of the press conferences. You can pause and read it, but Coach Auriemma just explained how he couldn't fully be present for the team, so he wasn't going to be beneficial during that time. I think it was really well said, and if you have time to read it, I definitely recommend it. The bench wasn't only short because of Coach Auriemma's absence. The roller coaster of injury just keeps extending. Aaliyah Edwards fell off of the court in one of the games, seemed to get injured. Ayanna Patterson entered concussion protocol. Caroline Ducharme also in concussion protocol, making the Huskies have to cancel their game, postpone their game against DePaul because they didn't have 7 available players, which is a Big East rule. What were your initial thoughts when hearing this, and what are your thoughts about the injury stretch?
You know, at this point, I feel like you have to feel for the team. They've gone through so much, and it hasn't gotten easier for them. But I do think it's very impressive how they've been able to stay together, win games, and stay at number 5 in the country.
I definitely agree. And I think a lot of emphasis has been now placed on sports injury after Damar Hamlin and seeing how that kind of played out, and thank God he's okay. But I think Haley Jones even wore a shirt the other day that said human is greater than athlete. These people are something that we love to watch, and it's entertainment. But at the end of the day, they are humans, and we want to value their physical and mental health. I saw a couple complaints on Twitter just saying how it was unfair that the Huskies could postpone their game. But I don't know how well it would be to send out less than 7 people, because I couldn't imagine the mental toll I would feel or the pressure to have to play in a game like that. I think Coach Auriemma's quote, even from before, kind of explains it well, that you love the game, but you kind of have to be physically and mentally healthy to play the game. So I think that's just an important lesson to kind of learn through all of this. I know it's really frustrating seeing our favorite players go down, but they are humans, and at the end of the day, we have to prioritize that. And as much as they love basketball, I think they'd prefer to be healthy first. UConn does remain undefeated in the Big East, though, as much as their injury stretch has got them, but that doesn't mean they haven't struggled. The first half of Georgetown was just a mess of turnovers, inconsistent shooting. Through these past Big East games, what do you think the Huskies struggled with the most?
I think their communication has been pretty good between Nika and Aaliyah and all that, but you're right, the turnovers have been a problem. And honestly, just getting off to a good start, the patterns are, they start not great and then they get into a flow and finish the game strong. So I just think they have to start strong all the way through, so to make it a better game for everyone.
I definitely agree. I think that was one of their main issues last season. You kind of have to just get out running, and if you can develop that lead really early in the first quarter, you're not as worried in those 3rd and 4th. So I think that's definitely something they need to emphasize before getting into the postseason. I think one of their greatest games that we've seen in this Big East stretch was that Seton Hall game coming off of Georgetown. Although they won the game, they were just in a slump, and I think a lot of them wanted to prove how powerful they could be. It was the best all-around effort I've seen from the team. 103 points from 7 players, 3 players in 20-plus points, 5 players 10-plus points, 56.5% field goal percentage, 66.7%. 3-point percentage, and then obviously Amari DeBerry with the most amazing play of all time, falling to the ground and then passing it to Inez for a layup, something I thought was going to be catastrophic, but then was on SportsCenter the next day. Why do you think the game was so successful, and what do you think their biggest strengths have been in the Big East so far?
Well, the limited amount of players does a lot for the team. So players like Nika and Aaliyah have had to step up and become leaders. You can see just watching a game. You watch Nika, she tells everyone what to do, where to go. She's just an amazing leader and has the voice of the team. I also think Aubrey Griffin's comeback is just insane what she's been able to do, especially with the limited amount of players. She has been the go-to and has put up a lot of points for the team. And also the younger players who have stepped up, like Inez and Amari. And I just think they've been putting up solid numbers when everyone's in need.
I think that's a really good point about Aubrey. You kind of forget that Aubrey Griffin was actually out the entire season last year, came to a couple games with a cane, and now she's scoring 29 points in some games. I think that kind of gives hope for how many injured people we have on the bench, not even getting to see Ice Brady play in college yet, and Paige still being there for the season, AZ in and out, Caroline Ducharme in concussion protocol. So I think Aubrey's just a great example of how you can come back so much stronger from injury, and how you just have to be patient during that time. There's been a lot of players, as you said, that have stood out, but what player out of all of those do you think has really stood out in those past games?
I mean, like I said, Aaliyah Edwards, she's been atop of every leaderboard with the points, and she's just been a leader for the team. You know, she's fallen, you know, she fell into the crowd the other game, but she's been there, and honestly, for this year, like, being there and being available is honestly what is most important, and I think she's performed every single time.
I think Aaliyah Edwards should definitely be in the conversation for National Player of the Year. She's one of the only players that has had to been there every single game. She's had to play with a billion different lineups. She just shows up, plays with who she can, and I think her season last year to this year is such a big jump and development, and you can see that she really put in the work to be there. That I think her efforts this year have been remarkable, and she has to be in that conversation. In other news, Jana L. Affey, a commit for next year, enrolled early for the Huskies, although she won't be playing this season, they say, but our long stream of injuries, we never know. What are your thoughts on the decision?
No, I think it's super exciting that we have a new Husky joining the team. I've heard she graduated high school, so she's good to be here. And I just think it's a really good opportunity for her to be here, getting in the whole environment and aspect of UConn since she is from international. So even if she doesn't play, because it will affect her eligibility and stuff, I think it's going to build her and benefit her for next year.
Yeah, I think definitely getting in the practice now will be beneficial. I think that it must be a big, overwhelming thing to have to come in as an international player and be not even a freshman, but a pre-freshman in the program, but I think it'll make her much stronger as a freshman. We kind of haven't really gotten to see this out of someone. Sailor Poffenbarger came in early, but then she transferred, so I kind of want to see how beneficial this could be, because maybe she'll come out playing like a sophomore by next season, hopefully she's healthy. Well, originally I was like, one more person added to the bench. Thank God it's not due to injury.
She's 17. It's crazy.
Yeah, it is insane. But as much as the Big East has been a confidence boost and helpful for the Huskies to develop their playing style, they will be entering some tougher non-conference games soon. Tennessee this Thursday, and then South Carolina only a couple weeks away. What are your thoughts and predictions going into those with the uncertainty of the team?
You know, I think it's good that they're getting a break from Big East action, but it's not going to be easier in any kind of way. You know, I think it's going to be a big challenge without AZ Fudd, because she, you know, before she was dropping 30 and having amazing offensive games every time. But, you know, South Carolina is going to be a big challenge, you know, maybe the hardest game of the season with how they've been performing. And Tennessee, it's going to be harder because it's away, you know. I just think it's not going to be easy for them, but I have a feeling that they are so close in chemistry that they can pull out with a win in either one, if not both.
I'm very excited to see them become tested. I know South Carolina is going to be a difficult matchup, especially because we're really relying on this starting five, who has become so dominant with two bigs in Aaliyah and Dorka, and then you have Aubrey and Lou just being extreme shooting providers, and then Nika Mule being the nation's assist leader. You couldn't dream of a better starting lineup, and it's probably not even the starting lineup we had planned in June. So it's crazy to see how things work out. I think they are not going to back down from the South Carolina game. I know that we have injury struggles, but I think it would be an even more dominant win if we could show that we could beat them, regardless of who we have on the court. It's been a while since we have beat them, and the last time we did beat them was off of a Paige Becker's three-pointer, which we won't have this season, but I think we've just developed so much as a team that I could really see us pulling off the win. And I'm excited for this Tennessee matchup too, but until they head down to Rocky Top, thanks for tuning in to this episode of Under Review. I'm Mahn.
And I'm Inesta. Thanks for watching.